Welcome to Chain Bureau, smart crypto insights for smart investors. Today, we're looking at two totally different worlds that exist at the same time. On one hand, you've got this incredible strategic vision for blockchain that could literally reshape an entire economy. And on the other, well, you've got a chaotic, high-stakes market that's just driven by raw emotion. We're going to dive deep into these two clashing realities of blockchain in India and really try to understand the massive gap between the official plan and the hype you see on the street.
So, let's start at the very top, with the official plan. This actually comes straight from a strategy paper published by Niti Aayog, which is India's public policy think tank. And what's so fascinating here is that their vision, it's not about chasing quick profits or meme coins. Nope, it's about something much bigger, fundamentally rewiring how trust actually works across the entire country.
But for so many people, that high-level, grand vision feels completely disconnected from what they experience every single day. For them, the reality is just a world of intense hype, the constant threat of some really sophisticated scams, and of course, that powerful, gut-wrenching fear of missing out on the next big thing. And it's this disconnect, this gap, that we really need to get our heads around.
Okay, so let's dig into the official why. Why is a government think tank so deeply invested in this technology? Well, as we're about to see, it all comes down to one incredibly powerful word: trust.
According to their strategy paper, a blockchain is basically a new kind of digital middleman. So think about it this way. Instead of a bank or some government agency guaranteeing a transaction, you have cryptographically secured code doing that job. It's like a shared, unchangeable ledger that creates trust through pure math, making everything verifiable and auditable for everyone involved. No single person is in charge.
Now, this shows us the exact problem this technology is supposed to solve. These are India's rankings in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business report. And just look at enforcing contracts all the way down at 163rd, or property registration at 154th. These numbers point to what the report calls a trust deficit in the traditional systems. They're slow, they're complex, and they create a ton of friction in the economy. And this picture, it just brilliantly illustrates the real-world mess. This is the process for distributing fertilizer subsidies. It's a chaotic paper trail with manufacturers, warehouses, certifying agencies, retailers, all of them passing physical receipts and invoices back and forth. Every single one of those handoffs is a potential point for delay, for error, or even for fraud.
So here's the crucial point. A blockchain could replace that tangled mess with a single, shared digital ledger. The manufacturer, the farmer, and the government could all see and trust the exact same data in real time. That's the grand vision, right? A machine for creating trust and efficiency on a massive scale.
It's a really powerful idea, but it really begs the question. If the potential is so transformative and so strategic, why does the actual experience, for most investors, feel so much like the Wild West? Okay, let's explore that side of the story.
So now we're shifting gears. We're moving from the government's boardroom strategy to the bottom-up reality of the individual investor. And down here, a very different and much more emotional set of forces are at play.
The dominant force here is FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know that feeling, right? That gut punch feeling that you have to jump on something right now or you are going to be left behind forever? As one source puts it, it's an irrational decision, one that's made without any real verification, driven purely by the fear of regret.
Does any of this sound familiar to you? That sudden, almost physical urge to buy after you see a huge price spike? Investing in something just because you see it all over social media? Or maybe just obsessively checking charts all day? These are all classic signs that FOMO, not a real strategy, is in the driver's seat.
This FOMO-driven market creates a really stark divide in the kinds of assets you see. On one side, you have meme coins, which rely completely on social media hype. They have no business model, and their value can literally vanish overnight. On the other side, you've got utility tokens, which are tied to a real product or service. Their value is linked to whether the technology is actually useful. Put simply, it's the difference between pure hype and real substance. And by the way, if you want to get better at spotting that substance, check out the link in the bio to get 24/7 access to powerful trading indicators that can help you cut through the noise.
The problem with a market that's fueled by this much hype and FOMO is that it becomes the perfect breeding ground for bad actors. It's where the dream of getting rich quick so often turns into an absolute nightmare.
This quote, this gets right to the heart of the issue. A growing number of people are getting their financial advice from so-called finfluencers on social media, and these are often unqualified personalities whose recommendations can be biased or worse, part of a deliberate scam.
It's a really dangerous trend. And here is one of the most common scams they run: the pump and dump. It's pretty simple, actually. Insiders secretly buy a worthless coin for pennies. Then, they use their social media platforms to generate incredible, misleading hype, and they just wait for that FOMO to kick in. As retail investors pile in, the price skyrockets. Then, the insiders dump all their coins at the peak, making a fortune and leaving everyone else holding worthless digital dust as the price just collapses to zero. This is exactly the kind of trap that data-driven tools can help you avoid. If you want to see how, take a look at the link in our bio for indicators that can predict market moves with up to 93% accuracy.
So just how widespread is this risk? Well, one study found that a staggering 80% of all initial coin offerings, or ICOs, which are kind of like the crypto world's version of a stock market launch, turned out to be scams. 80%. Let that sink in. That is the dangerous reality that's lurking just behind all the hype.
Okay, so you've got this grand long-term vision on one side and a complete minefield of hype and scams on the other. So how do you possibly navigate all this? Well, the answer is to deliberately shift your mindset from chasing hype to doing your homework.
Here are a few mental models that can really help. First, have a simple checklist to fight those impulsive decisions. For instance, can you clearly explain the utility of this token? Second, you have to understand that markets are cyclical. What goes up on pure hype will come down. Don't let FOMO convince you a price will rise forever. Third, always ask that crucial question we talked about. Is this a meme coin or a utility token? What real-world problem does it actually solve? And finally, learn from your mistakes. We all make them. The key is to reflect on why you made the decision and not let emotion guide you next time. And if you want an edge in developing that strategy, seriously, check out the link in the bio to get access to 5+ powerful trading indicators that work on any device.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this. The government's vision of blockchain is based on solving complex, real-world problems. Like the ones you see mapped out in this flowchart. Finding real value requires asking those same hard questions. The hype is loud, and it's super easy to find. But the homework, the real diligence, that's not so easy. So, the final question I'll leave you with is, are you listening to the noise, or are you looking for the signal?